Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Quick update here for Bitcoin. We're going to look at some macro stuff here and of course some back-end liquidation data. So if you're new to the channel, I just want to say thanks again so much for joining me. Those who have been watching for a while, deeply appreciate your support. Absolutely, thank you. So taking a quick look here at Bitcoin. Back-end data here is pretty sparse. Obviously, the last 7 days, we've seen some range-bound activity between, 67.5 as low as about 66,000 if you were to kind of give us a range. So openly, honestly here, there's not a lot of liquidation back to the upside, okay? Larger big picture, we can see 60,000 to as low as about 63,000. Heavy concentration of liquidation there based on the last 7 days of trading, okay? So if we do kind of compare that though, however, with the macro, we can see that 69,000, almost even, 69 even, has about $7 to $8 billion of liquidation right there, and that's just at one price point. To be more specific, it's like 68,800. Okay, so to clarify, big picture, much more liquidation to the upside. However, if you look at the more recent relevant past, it would make sense for the price to maybe sweep down a little bit before it legs up again, just based on the overall sense of taking profit, securing profit. We also got to recognize and can't be naive to the fact that we do have a pretty substantial CME gap. Okay, so again, if you're not familiar with this chart here, you can follow it over in my Discord. I do have my charts that I share with my community, live charts. We got CME gap here as well for you. I'll continue to add more charts soon, but I can basically share with you all of my charts there. So it's kind of nice to have that option. Either way you look at it though, pretty big gap between 58.5 and 60.9. So just know that's a potential reality for that to be swept at some point. As far as the more immediate short-term time frame here on the hourly, just to kind of touch on this too, we do have this potential wave here right now that is due for a potential correction to these lower levels. So again, based on fibs, generally speaking, the price action will pull back to these three levels, the 0.382, 0.5, or 0.618. And to clarify, round number, 66,000 is the first, 65.4 is the second, and 64.9 at 0.618 is that lower point of control. I would say 65,000 makes the most sense for retracement here on the short term, just based on that being the most recent point of control. So let's take a quick look here at the weekly. Just kind of, let's presume the weekly candlestick is closed because we're almost there. We're just a few hours away from it. And we do take a look at larger time frames. Obviously, we got some nice engulfing candles here. When we look at the overall point of control here for the last, however long we've been here in this range since February 26th, we can see we're coming up against a resistance. That we have a heavy concentration at 67,000. We've talked about 67K in the past being a strong resistance. It worked as a resistance before, and it also worked as a support. So right now we're kind of seeing that volume profile, that point of control here, holding against us. But we also see here about 63,000 as a rough estimate is that lower range of control. So between 63 and 67,000 makes a lot of sense for the price to range if we were to continue moving down from 67K. All of that being said, if we do take a look at the moving averages, this is important to note. We're tentatively above, which strong likelihood we're going to close above the 20-day SMA. That's a pretty big deal. Okay, now it doesn't just mean you just shift your mindset to just like we're good 100% all in. It just implies that we are definitely looking like we're back on track. Okay, that's a very strong sign. And the same thing here as well. If you look at the RSI, over 50, money flow index increasing, stochastic RSI holding very strong. These are a lot of good weekly time frame scenarios. So am I bearish on the short-term time frame? A little bit, yeah. But I'm not attaching myself to that mindset. The overall sentiment here is that we are bullish, again, once more, big surprise, because we've broken through this descending trend line, and we're now back up above some key level resistances. Take a look here, though, as well, daily, if we kind of clarify this. We look at a lot of moving averages. We've been maintaining above the 50-day SMA for about 5 days now. That's a very, very good sign. As mentioning, that being a very important level in the past, and now it is here, of course, reaffirming itself. So all 4 moving averages below the price action, implying, again, if we do see a pullback, I would think that the 63 to 65K range would seem like the more immediate low, if you will. Okay. Now, again, we're not just going to jump in blindly if that happens, but that wouldn't be a bad dip to consider buying. Again, I'm going to be offering spot trade signals to my community here soon. Just got to wait for the integration on the Discord and Telegram through our website. So this would essentially be a spot trade for me as far as a consideration for buying the dip. Again, when I trade spot, I don't necessarily buy and sell often. I more so just buy majority of dips. So those are kind of things that I'm going to be providing. Again, dollar cost average targets. Daily time frame here, though, we're getting closer to 70 on the RSI, but stochastic swinging up again. All the more reason why we should experience or probably have a larger propensity to see the price action increase once more to potentially sweep again this upper level of liquidation at about 69,000. Okay, so that's a distinct probability. Is there a sweep of 69,000 and then price pullback a possibility? Absolutely. That's a very distinct probability, actually, because again, that's how liquidation works. But once more, if you do take a look at the more recent timeframes, minus the late shorts here that entered the market over the last couple of days, majority of all liquidation levels have been swept to the upside in the more recent last 7 days of trading. 4-hour time frame, quick to note, we got a MACD divergence here, and stochastic is swinging down, letting us know momentum should shift to the downside. This is kind of some of those smaller time frame indications letting us know that we're losing momentum and we haven't broken through this resistance range at about 67,000. So overall, we generally have some favorable signs that the price should pull back from a momentum standpoint, but we're above all moving averages. We're in pretty darn good shape until we close below the 20. More importantly, the 50-day SMA on the 4-hour, I think we should still presume the price will be range bound and potentially, sweep these more recent lows here to bounce off some fibs, but I wouldn't expect a dramatic decrease until that happens. So let's take a quick look at the Ichimoku cloud and confirm. Once again, we're still above the cloud, but the lagging span is now intersecting with the price action. Actually, it will likely be doing so in the next couple of hours, rather. And if that is the case, then the price action is more likely to bounce off of these levels here if it comes down. Keep in mind, though, we're above the cloud and we have pretty good support below us. So it's going to take a lot here, in my personal opinion, a closure, like a solid candlestick closure on the daily at 65K or lower to presume the price will continue any lower than that. Again, the more recent price, point of control rather, is this level here at about 65,000. So we just got to be mindful that that 64.6 to 65K range, that 0.618 fib level, is a likely bouncing point if the price does pull back. Okay, so this would make sense here to see that last leg down. Again, extreme worst case scenario, we fill that CME gap all the way down here at about 58.5 to 61K. But honestly, the more time we spend up in the 65 plus K range, the more likely we are to not see that happen. Okay. All right. Again, CME gaps get filled for the most part, but they don't always get filled right away. You just got to recognize that. So we could very well see the price action continue up to 6 figures. And eventually when we see our next cycle down, that could be swept later. That's kind of a possibility for us. Anyways, that's kind of all we got here for you, folks. Thanks again so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, comment below if you get a chance. Join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. We have a phenomenal Discord now, so please understand there's some really good results there, or more importantly, some nice trades occurring here. I send out trade alerts now as well to my community. So thanks again for the awesome feedback, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.